This prison story is about when this Crip came to prison as a man, but left out as a woman. Let's get to it. But before we get to it, I need for y'all to do me a quick favor. Number one, y'all know what time it is. Hit that like button. Number two, make sure you share this video on Facebook, Instagram, or wherever you can share this video to. Number three, make sure y'all hype the video, okay? And number four, let me know in the comment section, what is your favorite color? Okay? I'll start with me. My favorite color is blue. No, I'm not no Crip. I'm not gang affiliated at all, but I've been liking blue since I was maybe 5 years old. So let me know in the comment section, what's your favorite color? Now let's get to the story. So I just got stabbed and I'm in the infirmary, right? I got stabbed, got into a little altercation because the dude didn't want to pay what he owed. So I went in the cell and I thought I was going to be able to put down on him the way that I usually do, but he bucked on me. We got into a little scuffle, and before I knew it, I done got poked 3 times in my right arm, but my adrenaline was going so crazy, I didn't even know I got stabbed. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So I'm in the infirmary and I'm in the bed, right? And they wheeled this dude in. Now, normally, when you get wheeled in, when I say wheeled in, this dude is laying on his stomach and he like on his knees, but he's in a sling, like in a cast type thing with his ass up in the air, right? But it's a gown that's over him and like a blanket. So when they wheeled him past me, I'm like, what the right? Because I never seen nothing like that. So, me and a couple other guys, we like, man, what did y'all just see that? Some older convicts was like, yeah, that ain't nothing new, man. Dude just got his took. I'm like, what? It was like, yeah, dude got his ass took. That's how they usually come in, depending on how much damage happened. I said, damn, right? Now, I know this because, I got a good photographic memory. I noticed that this dude had tattoos on his face, and I could have sworn one of the tattoos said Crip. So I asked one of the older homies, like, hey, I think dude a Crip, man. It was like, why you say that? I said, cuz I could have sworn I seen Crip on his like on his forehead or whatever. And the older homie was like, that's odd. That's real odd. Okay, well, shit, we'll find out. So we gonna fast forward to 2 days later because nothing eventful happened since then, right? So they end up moving me to the 2nd ward of the infirmary. This is where you is one step away going to the 3rd ward of the infirmary, and that's where you can go back to general population or go back to the hole, right? In my case, my ass was going to the hole. So I'm there. And how the ward is set up, you got like beds, like 1 bed, 2 bed, 3 bed, 4 bed, 5 bed, right? And then opposite, there's, the same bed set up or whatever. So it's like a hospital room, not a hospital room, because it's you in one main room, but it's divided up by curtains. Y'all know in a hospital where you can like pull the curtain back or whatever and you can see the next person. So that's how the setup was. So we're going to say I'm in bed 4 and all the other beds is taken except for this one bed that's right to the right of me or whatever. So here he getting wheeled in. The Crip guy, the dude that we seen his ass up in the air, right? So they wheeling him in and he's right next to me. And I didn't say anything to him because I'm like, I've kind of felt bad for him because for the first 2-3 hours, dude was just whimpering. So I kind of felt bad for him. And let me say something right quick. For those that's out there that be thinking like, prison grape is funny, that shit ain't funny. Us convicts don't take pleasure in thinking that, that's funny. No, that's a, ugh. But anyway, let's get back to it. So eventually I asked him, I said, hey, cuz, you all right? He was like, you a Crip? I said, no, I ain't no Crip. I'm just, I'm Donta. He said, Donta? I said, yeah. He was like, you from Flint, Michigan? I said, yeah. He was like, man, what's up, bro? This Cardo. I said, Cardo? Right? Now we talking through the sheet or whatever. So I lean up and I open it up and I know him. I know exactly who this guy is. In fact, I grew up with this dude. I said, Cardo. He was like, yeah, what's up, Donta? I said, bro, what happened? You good? He was like, no, I'm not good. I'm not good at all, bro. I said, what happened? He was like, man, my gang, they turned on me. I said, well, what happened? He was like, man, I'll tell you later, man. I need to get some more pain medicine. I said, all right, man, stay up, right? So I closed the curtain back. So a nurse eventually came over there, gave him some morphine or whatever. And all I'm doing is sitting back thinking like, damn, that's Cardo for real. Like, I grew up with this dude, like, for real, right? I grew up. See, let's go back. Let me take y'all down a trip to memory lane, right? So when I got from Detroit, when I was about 9? Was I 9? When we moved from Detroit? When we moved from Detroit, I was 9, and we moved to Flint. So we moved on this street called Russell Street. It was Russell and I want to say Martin Luther King Street. And this is the story that I told. This is the street that I was on where I told y'all that I got into a fight with this dude named Reggie. And, he bought that beast out of me because the first time we fought, well, I ain't going to say we fought. He just whooped my ass. And I was afraid to fight back. But, all that day and all that night, I couldn't sleep or whatever till I got my get back. And the next day, I seen him at school and I popped off on him and he ended up still whooping my ass anyway. But that brought the dog out of me, right? But anyway, Cardo, he stayed way up the street. And how I met him, my cousin, he used to ride bikes with him. Now, y'all remember this back in the day. This in the 90s. This like in the maybe 9, I don't even know, 95, 96, 97, probably 97, 96, right? So, we used to ride bikes together, man. We used to go up to, it was a store off of Laredo Street. I think it's up on Saginaw and Laredo Street. We used to go up there and steal, right? Y'all remember, I don't know what the age group is up in that be watching my videos, but y'all remember when you can go to the corner store with $1 and get you a 25-cent Debbie cake, a 25-cent bag of chips, a 25-cent quarter juice, and you get like a 25-cent popsicle or ice cream or something, or some Mike and Ike's. Yeah, that was back in that day. Matter of fact, let's do another poll. Let me know what year y'all was born in. Let's see what it is. I was born in 88. So y'all go ahead and put the year y'all was born in the comment section. Let's get that going. But anyway, so this I knew Cardo, and I knew Cardo for maybe about 4 years before we ended up moving to Atlanta, right? Now, when I moved to Atlanta, I was going back and forth from Atlanta to Flint because, we was real unstable, right? And I would see Cardo throughout the years or whatever. And then when I went to Beecher, and that's when I ran into Cardo again. And at that time, Cardo was, he was in the gang. I didn't know Flint had Crips though at all, but and this we was like about 16, about 15, 16 or whatever. And I guess he was a Crip. And we hung out here and there, or we went to parties together, you know, messing with the same chicks, and me and Cardo, we was cool or whatever. But then I ended up moving back to Atlanta, and we lost contact, right? So that's the history of me and Cardo. Now let's get back to the prison story. So now, um, I guess it was maybe about 10 o'clock at night, and he was like, "Hey, Dante, you up? You up?" I said, "Yeah, what's up, Cardo?" He was like, "Yeah, bro, man, they fucked me up, man. They fucked me up, bro." So I pulled the curtain back. I said, "What happened, man?" He was like, "Man, my big homie, man, he raped me, bro." I said, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, my big homie raped me, bro." I said, "What? Why? Like, what?" He was like, "Man, it's a long story, but I'll tell you what happened. Basically, I was out there, right, and I was putting in work. I was out there in Detroit, and I was like putting in work for real. And this, one of our things to get in a gang was that you gotta hit somebody, right? You gotta kill somebody, and it can't be, a op." I said, "What?" He was like, "Yeah." I said, wait, hold up. So you killed the innocent person to get in this gang?" He was like, "Man, hey man, maybe it's karma what happened to me. But yeah, I knocked off this old man or whatever coming out of the post office. But anyway, um, that was the agreement. It's blood in, blood out. But it's this crip shit, though. I said, "Okay, so what happened?" It was like, well, it was a little couple of young dudes that wanted to get on. It was three of them, and I explained to them like, "Hey, to get in this, you gotta kill somebody, man. It's somebody innocent, a random person, right?" So they was all down with it. So we just riding around on the west side of Detroit, just looking for somebody, right? And the first we seen a woman with her kid, and one of the guys was like, "Hey, I want to do her in. I want to do her in." But I told him like, nah, she got a kid, man. Nah, no, we ain't gonna do that. But the dude was so adamant, like, "Man, no, man, for real, man. I don't care, man. I don't care about nothing, man. Let me do her in, right?" So he was like, "Nah, we gon' get somebody else then." He was like, "All right, man." So we started riding around some more. So he said he seen a white guy coming out of the gas station, like a dope fiend or whatever. So the first guy that wanted to knock off the mama and the kid or whatever that was with the kid, he hop out and just boom, 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 right? And he run, jump in the car, they take off, right? And he was like, "Man, I want to do somebody else." I want to do somebody else. So he was like, "No, man, chill, man. Chill, man. You gonna get your chance, man, to put some real work in, but no, you good now." So he said that the next guy, and keep in mind, these dudes ain't nothing but 14, 16, 18 years old. And at this time, Carter was maybe about 22, 23 years old, y'all. So he like, they seen, this white lady, this older white lady coming out of the gas station, right? And unfortunately, yes, she was a crackhead or whatever. And the other guy hopped out and banged her, right? So he said that dude jump in the car and they go. So now it's the younger homie, the dude that was 14 years old, time to put in some work or whatever. So they riding around and ain't nobody out. Ain't nobody out at all. So he said they see a police officer, right? Detroit PD right there. But dude sleep. Like, my man, the cop is asleep in the car. So they said they rolled past, and he was like, the 14-year-old was like, "Man, you know what? I'm going to earn my stripes today. Let me get at him." So he was like, "What, man? Stop playing." He was like, "No, for real. I'm going to get at him," right? So Cardo said he let him out the car. Now, Cardo said that he thought that, dude might just bust his window, because in Detroit, if you catch a cop sleeping, this what we used to do back in the day when we was kids. So you would get like a brick or whatever and throw it at they back window or they side window and to take off running. So Cardo thinking that's what he about to do. But he heard boom, 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 boom. And, the little guy, hurry up, jump in the car. And he like, man, what you just do? He was like, man, shit, I put that work in. Go. Right? So Cardo take off. So he said he just riding or whatever. And they get to the spot. And I guess his older homie, like, okay, so they put the work in. Like, yeah, but he didn't want to tell them about the cop situation. So he was like, all right, bet. Well, y'all, welcome to the family. We gonna get y'all some work or whatever, get y'all on the street, get y'all some money, and, it's welcome to the family or whatever. So, about, I'm gonna say 2 days later, you got the OG, the Crip guy, like the head guy of that gang or whatever in Detroit at that time. They got his face blasted all over the motherfucking news on every channel. Looking for him, wanted, right? They want him bad. Why? The car that Cardo then was using was the big homie baby mama car, right? So the heat is on. So they have emergency meeting and they like, yo, what happened? He like, bro, you ain't take the plates off the car? He was like, oh, I forgot. He was like, so what happened? He was like, well, shit, basically, the little man, the 14, I ain't gonna say his name, the 14-year-old, he the one killed the cop, right? So OG like, listen, Cardo, you gonna have to take that. You gonna have to turn yourself in. And he like, what? He was like, yeah, you got to turn yourself in because I'm not taking a rap for this, man. Hell no. Why would you let him kill a cop? It was like, man, I thought he was just going to throw a brick at the car, man. I didn't know that's what he was going to do. So he was like, and why the fuck you ain't tell me what happened, man? You like, no, F that. No, you gonna have to take the rap for this, man. For real. Joe Carter was like, man, fuck that. I ain't taking the rap for that, man. Fuck all that. I'm not, no, hell no, man. I'll do anything for the game, but man, I'm not, no, hell no, man. So he was like, listen, man, these motherfuckers looking for me. They looking for me, so you gonna have to go clear that shit up. So he was like, all right, man, all right. Right. So Cardo, he looked at me, right? He like, man, listen, Dante, I had to do what I had to do, bruh. I said, what you talking about? He was like, I had to do what I had to do. I said, what did you have to do? He was like, well, I'm about to tell you. He said, so yeah, I go to the police department and, I turn myself in and I tell them like, hey, I was threatened to get in this gang and, they made me, the guy made me, do these things and I brought along these other guys with me. I said, Cardo. He said, man, shit, man, they were talking about giving me life without parole, man. So I had to, man. I had to. I said, what did you do? He said, I told on everybody. Shit, I told. I told exactly what happened here. And I said that I fear for my life. And shit, I mean, it was over for me anyway. I'd rather do shit 15 years versus life and never getting out. I said, damn, Cardo. So I said, wait a minute. So you told on everybody? He was like, man, yeah. I said, okay. So I said, is that why? He was like, man, listen. So, yeah, I told on everybody, I had to tell what I did, obviously, and they gave me 15 years. And, when I got here, I thought I could just fly under the radar. I wasn't even, I got these tattoos and shit all over me, whatever, but every time somebody approached me, man, you know how that is. I had to let them know, like, I don't bang no more. I gave myself to God. I said, dog, what? He was like, yeah, but I mean, I do believe in God, but I said, Cardo. He was like, no, man, I mean, shit, it's survival, man. I had to. I said, so how this happened to you? He was like, well, shoot, word got around. They found out who I was, and I tried to join the Muslims, and they accepted me because they said, when you join the Muslims, Allah forgive you, so we gotta forgive you. But it became an issue because the big homies here, the Crips here, they weren't trying to hear that, and they control the heroin up here, the dog food or whatever, and it was bad business. So they gave me up, and dude put me in the cell with him, and he said that I gotta work for him. I just gotta work for the rest of the time that I'm in here. I said, your big homie, the Crip guy? He was like, yeah. So I said, okay. He was like, so when he got me in the cell, he just told me I got to keep the cell clean. I just got to do everything around the cell, and that's really it. And like that night when I went to sleep, he raped me. I said, damn. He was like, yeah, and he did it for like over 3 days. I couldn't leave the cell. He told me he was gonna kill me if I told. And by the grace of God, the CEO came through when they were doing count, and I didn't get out the bed, and he came in there and seen what was going on, and I told them, and they got me out of here, man. And I almost died, man, due to blood loss. I said, damn, man. I said, so what, they gonna transfer you? He was like, yeah, they gonna transfer me, man. And I'm fucked up, man. I really am. I said, yeah. I mean, I guess. I mean, I'm sorry to hear that. He was like, no, man, that's not even the worst part. You think that's the worst part, but man, thing about it, man, I got HIV too now. I said, what? It was like, yeah, they did a test, and the big homie, he had HIV, and now I got it. I said, damn, Cardo. So I pulled the sheet back and I laid down, right? And I hear Cardo over there whimpering. He still over there crying now. He back whimpering, right? So about, I'm going to say, I didn't talk to him the next day because I was feeling, I had all type of mixed emotions about this cat, because I mean, I grew up with him somewhat, and I knew this dude. I knew him from the streets. And but it didn't sit right with me how when he told me, like, to get in that gang you had to take out an innocent person, right? And I was thinking, like, damn, what if my mama was out there? What if my sister or one of my brothers that ain't in the streets? Or what if one of my sons was out there and they just knocked him off for no reason, just to get in the gang, and just for the outcome to be this, that everybody, he done told on everybody. So I felt some type of way, y'all. I did. I did. It was mixed with anger, sadness. And I was thinking, like, damn, this is just an all around messed up situation. Hey, let me look. I want to holler at the youth right quick, if that's okay. Can I holler at the youth right quick, y'all? Listen, from my understanding, when you join a gang, it's because you ain't got nothing. You come from nothing. You broke, you're poor. And it's just that camaraderie, that family atmosphere that you get when you join the gang, right? Like, we all broke, we all poor, but we together. You know what I'm talking about? We family. But when it comes to that extreme level of you gotta take somebody's life to get in this gang, and for what? To sell drugs? To buy weed? To get a car or apartment? When you can do all that, all these, look, crime don't pay, y'all. You can really go get a job, a CDL, or work at a warehouse. If you really equate the time, how much time dudes be in prison for committing crimes when they could have just got a job. And when you look at all the years that they sitting behind bars and they could have been working at McDonald's or something, and the money, you add that money up versus the time, they should have just been working at a regular job. I'll tell y'all something, man. We are living in some wicked times. It is not going to get better. If you believe in the Bible, if you believe in Jesus, right? That Jesus is the Son of God, then y'all will believe in Revelations, man. I don't know if we are in the end of days. I don't know. But I know this, we are knocking at the door. It's like every time I cut on social media, right, go on Facebook, be scrolling through Facebook, whatever, all I just see negativity, people getting unalived, girls just twerking, women just doing I be like, yo, it's like when God destroyed the world, right, with the flood, because he said that men's hearts was just continuously evil, right? That they thoughts was just continuously evil. And that's what it seemed like today, man. It's just people taking people's lives for nothing. Hey, this is why I don't go out, y'all. I don't. I'm a homebody. I stay home. But, hey, I'm gonna leave y'all with this though. And before I leave this story, before I end this, I want to explain something to the people that be having questions. They be like, yo, Donta, why you be telling stories about homosexuality so much? You want to know why I tell so many stories about homosexuality? Because there's a homosexual demon that's out here in the world. It's a lot of political things that's going on in this world that is acceptable now. And I feel like, well, shit, the worst thing that can happen to a man in prison is getting his manhood taken, right? So if I tell y'all these stories, and I'm really not telling these stories for the grown-ups, I'm telling these stories to these youth out here that like girls, that like to be in the streets. Because I guarantee you, I bet you this much. See, your sex drive don't go nowhere. You know, you're young, you're hot, you're bothered, you've been laying this down, laying that down. Where do you think that sex drive go when you get locked up? It's still there. And one day, you gonna fight it, you gonna keep fighting it, and then one day, one of them sissies gonna get at you. You're gonna be locked up. I don't know, it might happen in your third month, your first year, your third year, your fifth year, but you gonna succumb to it. And what I'm saying is, the reason why I tell these graphic stories or whatever is for a deterrent, man, to get you not wanting to commit crimes to go to prison, because this is just what you're gonna have to deal with. And don't think for 1 second that your gang won't turn on you. And don't think for 1 second that there's gang members that won't go up in you. But, hey, a lot of you cats is hard-headed, and you gonna find out the hard way. Like, the hard way for real. Pause. Hey. Y'all be safe out there, man. at the end of this video, if y'all want to leave me a tip, pause. I got all the payment plans. Well, y'all will see. I'm out. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to my movie and my gaming channel. I'ma have that link pinned at the top of the comment section. Also, y'all subscribe to Stacy's Storytime. She's tell phenomenal stories just like myself. And if y'all feeling generous, make sure y'all leave me a tip. I'm accepting Cash App, Zelle, and PayPal. Until next time, y'all take care. I'm gone.